All right, so we're going to talk about loyalty at work. And I guess there's two sides to this coin. There's loyalty in terms of staying at an organization, like longevity. And the second side is loyalty to your role, I would say, where you're going above and beyond what your role entails for the sake of, companies, goals, visions. Do you think that's something that is, okay, let's start with the first one. Loyalty at work, staying at a company, longevity. You guys see that as being a good thing? I don't even think that's a growing trend, to be honest with you. At least anecdotally, most of the people I know have switched. Virtually all my friends are not with the same company they've been in the last 3 years. Every single one of them somewhere else, including myself.
Yeah. I had a friend who shared her diagnosis of anxiety with her mother-in-law, and then her mother-in-law was like, "You absolutely cannot share that with your employer. Like they have to know that you're like this isn't going to be an issue. You want to be with them long term, and therefore anxiety like can't interfere with them." And that was something that she was absolutely terrified afterwards to share it with anyone because of that commentary. In her defense, in the mother-in-law's defense, she's been working at the same role for, I'm going to say 40 years plus, happily. So,
Oh, yeah?
well,
Yeah.
relatively
I mean,
happily,
you're
let's
staying there
say.
for 40 years, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I hope she's happy.
Yeah, to me, I don't know if it's a generational thing. My dad was always in contract work, so we switched up. But my mom also was a loyal. Like when she worked at Bell, like Bell was life. Screw
Yeah.
Rogers, Bell's the best. And then when she worked at Dell, all she did was change a letter from B to D, and she was loyal to them for God knows how long. But I feel like in our generation, I don't think we are loyal to companies. I think we're more so loyal to roles and how we feel in that role and how the company's treating us. And I feel like employees now at least have a semblance that they have an edge. Like I know a lot of people like if I'm not getting my way, then you know what, somewhere else is hiring. And there was a point, especially during COVID, I remember, it was like really easy to get a bump in your pay or your status, very easily switching jobs. Now, at least, like because now I'm in a hiring capacity, now I'm getting more resumes than I've ever gotten. So something else is happening in the economy, and that may increase that loyalty. Whether that loyalty is a good thing or a bad thing, it's a personal choice. I think if the company's treating you well, then it pays to be loyal. But I don't think it should be inherent. I shouldn't be loyal because that company hired me. I
Right.
think if they're treating me well and it's a win-win relationship, then continue the loyalty. Otherwise, why would you stay? Basically, the Vice article explains that or insinuates that working those extra hours, the companies are demanding loyalty in the form of unpaid work, basically going above and beyond, and that it's considered a form of exploitation. Do you see it that way? That working, basically showing loyalty in that sense, do you think that's a form of exploitation from companies? Should companies inherently reward that behavior immediately? I think the job of an organization, and this is going to sound like heartless, but I'm just like, if I'm looking at just the interest of the organization, even look at legally, organizations are considered separate entities. So pretend it's a person. Their job is to exploit as much they can out of you for the company's benefit. Not in an evil way, but that's just their job. So if you volunteer your time, your effort, going above and beyond what the role expected you, they were paying you X for Y, but you gave Y and Z and a little more on top. Why would you expect, or why would the company be expected to reciprocate if you're not requesting it? There's this thing, closed mouths don't get fed. So it's very simple. If you just continue to do that, like you said, I'm a big culprit of that. I'll go above and beyond out of my own curiosity, and then sooner or later, it's like, wait, I've just adopted 4 or 5 more tasks or roles. I didn't ask for anything more. Maybe I expected it, but I didn't ask for it, and that's it. That's just part of my. Now I've actually set that new expectation, and so when you don't do it, suddenly it's like, hey, what happened to that report? You mean the report that didn't exist 6 months ago, and I just decided to start taking it on? So, in terms of exploitation, I don't think it's deliberate. I just think it's in the best interest of the company. So if you feel that way, like if I was an employee and I'm in that position, closed mouths don't get fed. Speak up, say, look, when I started, my role involved A, B, C, D, E, F, G. This is what was expected of me, and I've delivered. I've decided to go above and beyond. And maybe in the beginning, I was doing it, just for free in the sense, because I was wanting to see, can I do it? Am I proficient at it? And now I've proven not only am I proficient at it, you expect it from me now. I'm getting requested about it. Yeah.
I mean, I think in that specific example, when you have the opportunity to come into a company and they give you like all of these new things to learn, Me personally, I love learning. So already I like that could be exploitative if you want to argue it that way. Also, I just love learning. So give me something new to learn and I'll dive in. But there is a point that I'll reach where I'm like, I know this well enough that I can charge a dollar amount because I'm now skilled enough to do so. You also gave me the opportunity to learn this, expecting me to be skilled. So I don't know if there's a conversation that needs to happen like during the onboarding process or the hiring process where it's like, once I learn this, can we discuss a salary increase, or can we discuss like reallocating my priorities so that I can take on more in that certain thing that I've learned, and then pass on some other responsibilities that I've been doing onto somebody else so that I have the capacity to do ultimately what you wanted me to learn to do. I guess that, and now I'm going to argue myself.
Devil's advocate.
Always. So yeah, I there's a constant argumented battle in my brain, but that's also different than having the opportunity to learn something when you're like 3 or 4 years into a job and you see an opportunity to like just contribute to a project, hoping that it kind of proves your loyalty to the company. I don't know if that's the right term, because also it would just be, once again, for me, it's an opportunity to do something new and novel and learn.
It's for your own selfish reasons beyond just the company.
Exactly. That's why I'm a project manager, because I always have a new kind
You're dipping
of
your toes in like everything.
Yeah, exactly. And as a project manager, I am already aware that that's going to be the case. I'm always going to be learning something new. But for people who take on project management roles without even knowing it, and then all of a sudden they are doing the work plus managing a project without that foundational knowledge, or without a company that's providing you resources to learn how to develop that foundation, that's where it's like a red flag for me. And like, you should at least go to your company and say, hey, I know that there are courses available for me to be better at this. Can I have your support? Focus on this for X amount of time. I need X amount of dollars to do so, or I need some sort of stipend to allow me to take this 3-hour course once a week. Ooh, and yeah, it's tricky too, because at the end of the day, like, you always want more money, and same with a company. So I think that exactly. Like, you kind of want to speak to the company with that dollar mindset as well. Like, the company wants to exploit you, so you might as well exploit it back.
You should feel no guilt. Like this example you gave of you going to your boss and feeling that sense of guilt, or them guilt tripping you. That's even worse. They're coming to guilt trip you. We provided you an opportunity. Okay, look, let's not confuse this employment relationship which is like literally on a contract like that we both signed, and I can go to an employment lawyer. Let's not confuse that. We're not best friends here. This is literally a transaction of my time and / skills for money. That's what this relationship is. So I gave you an opportunity. If you signed a bad deal because you gave me an opportunity and realized, crap, he's not as skilled as I thought, but you know what, I can get this other thing out of him. I didn't sign that. You signed the bad deal, not me. So you can't really guilt trip me into this. And the beauty of work, especially now with what you said, the increased supply, right? The increased supply of all the jobs. Now I can work for any company. I want to work for Malaysian or Singapore. I can go do it. So with the increased supply, you have the free market at your side. If you believe that, okay, if they're going to guilt trip you, and you truly believe that what they're saying is a guilt trip and not a genuine critique, then go to the free market. If you believe you're worth X, the free market's right there. If they don't believe it, then if you put yourself out there and nobody thinks you are worth what you think you're worth, then that's when you got to look kind of within and move on.
Yeah.